Hey gorgeous souls. Today's video, I have to. Have you ever said this to yourself? I know I definitely have. I have to go to the grocery store. I have to go do this. I have to go do that. We spend so much of our time believing and thinking and saying to ourselves that we have to do things. When we do this, what it actually does is it negates the fact that we actually have free will, that we're actually choosing to do these things. Hey Fee, great to have you on, honey. It really impacts our health and well-being because what it actually does long term, the more that you do these things, is it sets up resistance within your body. Because anytime you feel like you have to do something, now you don't feel like you're at free will. Now we unconsciously feel a sense of powerlessness, anger, blame, resentment that we have to do all these things, even if it was something that originally you actually wanted to do to begin with. Whether that's running a business, or whether that's raising children, whether that's being in a relationship with somebody, whether that's going to work at a particular job. All of those different things. When we say I have to, it is literally taking away our own personal power. And effectively, it's kind of like putting your own hands in your back and trying to push yourself forward. And if you think about that, like if somebody was literally pushing you, saying you have to go do this thing, how do you naturally react? Of course, like we want to push back, and this is what creates resistance within ourselves. We set ourselves up with opposing parts within ourselves. There's an aspect or a part of ourselves that believes that we have to, that we should, that we must, that we need to. And then there's another aspect of ourselves that doesn't want to, or doesn't want to be controlled. It doesn't want to feel trapped. It doesn't want to feel powerless. And so these opposing parts then start to pull on you this way, and it makes it very difficult to move forward. But the real damage is actually done with yourself, because it actually impacts how you're valuing yourself and your ability to feel that you are a divine free will creator within your own world. Whenever we're placing have-tos on ourselves, we forget that we've actually created that from a place of something that we actually wanted to have in our life. And of course, with anything, there are always consequences. But in truth, you never have to do anything, but those cause and effect consequences will play out. So you don't have to go to work, but perhaps you're choosing to go to work because you want to bring in money, or because you want to raise your family in a particular way. So all of these things definitely will impact you if you don't feel that you're at free will. And they tend to lock us into kind of so-called boxes like, well, I just have to go to this job. I've got no other choice but to do this, without stopping to think, well, is there another way that I can create income or money in a way that I truly love, or in a way that truly resonates for me? So the more that we go into this, when you're in a state of powerlessness, when you feel that you don't have control or power over your own life and what you're wanting to create, this tends to pinch ourselves off from our life force energy. Just think about it, like the more that you feel like you have to do something, the less you want to do that, and the less energy that you have to put towards that particular thing. And so this sets up like a cycle, or a looping cycle, where we put less effort in because we don't really want to be doing that thing. You've kind of got one foot on one side and one foot in the other, and we tend to dabble, which again leads to minimal results, which again leads to feelings like I can't do this, or I'm no good at this, or I just don't want to do this, which creates even more resistance within the body. Chronic fatigue, feeling chronically fatigued, feeling chronically exhausted long term, always comes from chronically doing things that we don't want to be doing. So this makes sense to actually change our language from I have to I want to. Reason why this is really, really important, and hey Fiona, great to have you on, honey, is when we start to shift that, you will start to consciously recognize the things that you don't want to be doing. And Teal Swan does a great video on this, on I have to, and the ways it ruins your life, literally. But she makes a really, really great acknowledgement here with, when you say I want to, you will automatically start to hear your own resistance instead of feeling that I have to is coming from outside of yourself. Because often this is where it can, I have to because the kids need me to, have to because otherwise, my boss will be angry at me, I have to, where we're literally blaming or placing that responsibility on everybody else for the things that we have to do in our life. Now, you may have some I have to's for yourself as well. I have to work out, I have to eat healthy, all of those things. And again, it's remembering you are at full choice as to what you do, and there is no obligation ever as a soul in this world. It is literally, you could sit as a blob on the floor. Now, you may not love yourself very much for doing that, or there may be, of course, natural consequences that come from that. But the more that you step into, I want to, I choose to, or I desire to, or even I'm excited to, it will totally shift and change your energy. It's a forward-leading movement in terms of, hey Helen, great to have you on, in terms of like, it pulls you forward. It's leading you. It's like somebody taking your hand instead of having somebody's hands pushing you in the back around this. And so it's such an important distinction. And like I said, the biggest thing around all of this is recognizing on a daily basis your own creative will, your own creative power, and tapping back into your free will by using the words I want to, I choose to, or I desire to, or I'm excited to. Because from that place, like I said, when you say the words I want to, you're going to be so clear on what is coming up in opposition as to maybe why you don't want to, and it will force you to reconcile with yourself and to get really honest and to be able to communicate that effectively with other people. But whilst ever you're blaming others or blaming situations or circumstances without actually taking back and acknowledge your own free will, and that you are actually making that choice because you don't want to either suffer the consequences or because you're moving towards a bigger goal or dream or who you wish to express in the world. And honestly, that is our greatest opportunity, not obligation, but opportunity to do things as an expression of who we are, not because we have to, but because we want to be that person. So if you're somebody that loves a clean house, then you will excitedly choose to clean your house because you're wishing that to be an expression of who you are and how you wish to live as well, which is super, super important. Hey Sandra, great to have you on here. So, knowing full well that the lowest energy that we can be in is powerlessness, shame, and blame. Blame is a little bit further up, but definitely powerlessness and shame. It makes so much sense to take our own power back in the language that we use within ourselves, because this drives, our language literally drives our biochemistry. The words that you say to yourself, the way that you speak to yourself, and the way that you express yourself in the world is driving your biochemistry every single day. And this is why it affects or impacts your health so much, because again, if you're saying I have to, I need to, oh my gosh, they're going to be angry at me if I don't, all of these things are putting you into an elevated state of stress, impacting cortisol, impacting adrenaline, driving inflammation. But worst of all, just cutting off your own life energy and passion and joy that you're here to experience as a human being. So these things are so, so, so important, because shifting from a powerless state or a victim state, and I truly believe, so many people live in that place of, I know I did for years and still can sometimes unconsciously, we're all human, we all, there's a huge ebb and flow with all of this stuff, but the awareness around it, being able to shift it and change it so fast, really impacts your life in a super, super powerful way. This is all to do with the language of how we communicate with ourselves, what we believe underneath, like in terms of what we believe that we can have, what's possible for us, our feelings of enoughness, our feelings of self-value and self-love all impact these stories that we tell ourselves, or the meaning that we're making around things that we have to, or we must, or we should, all of those things. So if that is impacting you massively and you are looking to change this, we are kicking off with Know Your Worth. It's a 5-day online event next Monday, starting on the 3rd. It'll be 15 to 30 minutes at 12:15 p.m. each day for 5 days straight, starting next Monday, where we are going to do a deep dive on some of these beliefs that have you feel like you're not enough, that have you feel overly responsible for others, because it's kind of like, that can be a big one with the I have to. Is if you feel like nobody else is there or nobody else is going to, then of course it feels like you have to. But changing your language around this will truly serve you and increase your life force energy and bring a greater level of freedom in recognizing you are fully choosing how you wish to live every single day, even if you don't recognize your own current power within that at the moment. So if that really resonates with you, I will drop the link below. Jump on, sign up. Honestly, the course is an absolute bargain for $297, but I have brought it back to $27 so that it is absolutely affordable. I think it's so important that everybody understands how they can shift their thinking, how they can shift the way that they're feeling about themselves, and truly empower themselves to step into creating a life that they truly love. So if that is for you, if you'd love to come play with us, we would love to have you there. I'll pop the link below and can't wait to see you there. Have an amazing day. Loads of love to you. And if this has been valuable for you, please share it with somebody that you love and care about. It is so important, and it's great. A thing that you can do with maybe somebody else in your life is catch each other out when you're using the word I have to. Bring it back to choice, because the moment that we recognize we are at full choice for everything that we do, that is what gives us our power back. It's total empowerment and freedom, and the ability to be able to choose something differently if that's not currently resonating with you as well. So have an amazing day. Lots of love. So much gratitude for you being on here. Catch you guys later. Bye.